Welcome, welcome. It's so good to see faces. If you are able to keep your cameras on, we'd love to see you. If you're in a situation where you can't keep your camera on, we completely understand. I want to welcome you to the Making Connections Spring Series at Reimagine. My name is Andy Engel, and I lead virtual public programs at Reimagine. And if this is your first Reimagine event, we're so glad you're here. Reimagine is a nonprofit organization catalyzing a uniquely powerful community. People of different backgrounds, people of different ages, different races, different sexual orientations, different gender identities, people of faith, people of no faith, all coming together to support each other in facing adversity, loss, mortality, and to transform life's biggest challenges into action and growth. Loneliness is most certainly one of the greatest challenges we're facing today. Reimagine resources, support groups, events like this one today are free and accessible to the public. This is made possible by the support and generosity of participants like you. So for those of you who already made a tax-deductible donation when you registered for today's program, thank you. So what can we do to strengthen connections in these chaotic and disheartening times? There are simple actions to take, like picking up the phone and calling a friend. You can check in with your neighbors, and these actions are important on a daily basis. Equally important are visionary and scalable projects that are gaining attention and making an impact. We're showcasing 25 of them and the leaders that are associated with them. Projects that build bridges across generations, projects that utilize art, books, and food, block parties, benches, listening tables, long tables, barbershops, playgrounds, sheds with tools to tinker and to talk to others, memory cafes for folks with dementia and their caregivers, and online spaces where people play games. Since this series is all about making connections, please start using the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from. Let us know what you've been doing on a personal level to cultivate more connections with others, whether that's among your friends, among family, among neighbors, or in your community. In a day or two, you'll receive a link to the recording of today's discussion in your inbox, along with links for the 25 innovative projects. My colleague Nicole will upload today's digital program in the chat. It contains project descriptions, bios, and links. I want to give a special shout out to the Foundation for Social Connection and Weave, the Social Fabric Project, for contributing promotional support and ideas for this event. And of course, thanks to all of our speakers, their projects, and organizations for participating and for getting the word out. Also, a special shout out to Karen McBride, who provided additional support for social media. I want to let everyone know that our speakers have prepped to make sure that their talks are 2 minutes long. We're trying to keep things at a lightning pace, since this is a lightning round, and to ensure that everyone has time to speak in the time we've allotted. So if any speakers go over time, they might get cut off verbally, and it's not intended to be rude. And a final thanks, of course, to Allison Gilbert, the host of this series. She was the one who came up with this idea to gather 25 visionary leaders and projects, and I truly enjoyed co-creating and producing this event. Allison is an Emmy Award-winning journalist and acclaimed author. She speaks widely on how to find connection amid the growing public health crisis of social isolation and loneliness. She's a longtime Reimagine collaborator. And with the late Dr. Ruth Westheimer, she's the co-author of The Joy of Connections. Allison, I have enjoyed collaborating on this series so much, and I look forward to learning from our 25 guests and all of you who have gathered with us today. Thank you. Allison.
Andy, thank you so much for being the most incredible partner The highlights are always when we get to meet in person to go over our plans. That's always the joy for me. So I feel like I've gained a friend working and collaborating with Reimagine. So I thank you for that and going with this vision in every way, shape, and form. I have been looking forward to today so much. And so I'm so grateful that the uptake was so sweeping. We've had, just so everyone knows, more than 1,000 people raise their hand to sign up and to register. Of course, not everyone's able to join today, but they will get this recording. So thank you for showing up and engaging and being interested. I hope that you hear ideas from these 25 amazing humans that you can bring back to your communities, your neighborhoods, your schools, the places where you live and work. I hope this is inspiring to you. And when I wrote The Joy of Connections with Dr. Ruth Westheimer, the goal was very simple: to offer 100 straightforward ideas for being more connected. The book, we decided, would not be a deep dive into why readers were feeling disconnected. We just wanted anyone at any age, at any stage, to have the tools to act right now to feel less alone. And this is the same approach we're taking today. You are joining right now for a first of its kind of event. 25 of the most important organizations devoted to helping us build connections in 2025. Andy touched on some of them, but I want to give you a very brief idea of the scope. The ideas you are about to hear focus on teenagers. They focus on college students and individuals who have moved to new towns who are just trying to meet new people. We're talking about empty nesters and older adults. We're talking about communities in big cities, places that are rural and hard to connect. Innovators who are using technology, the arts, and even urban planning. So thank you, Reimagine, for making this possible. I want to start in an airport in Berlin, which is where we are finding Dr. Dixon Chabanda today. He is the founder of the groundbreaking program that uses the wisdom of grandmothers and the power of park benches to build connection. And because he's joining us from the furthest away, we have opted for him to go first. So Dixon, please take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm honored to be part of this. Just to give a big picture, to our colleagues who are listening, we have a global epidemic of depression, loneliness, and suicide. And we will never have enough psychiatrists or therapists to manage what we call the care gap in the mental health world. And so what I do is I train community grandmothers in the basics of cognitive behavioral therapy, and then allocate these grandmothers wooden park benches in their communities. For the last 15 years, we have trained well over 3,000 grandmas. But the most important lesson from the work that I do is one simple realization, and that is each one of us has the ability to be a healer. Each one of us can reach out to those who are in need in their communities. And so what I'm trying to articulate, particularly through my current book, is the power that we collectively all have when it comes to making a difference in our communities. And so I'm urging you all out there, play a part in your communities, because you can. You don't have to be a psychiatrist. You can make a difference with what you have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You have a little bit, teeny tiny bit of more time, and I'm wondering, did you get the benches donated to you? How can other people replicate that?
People can replicate that by getting in touch with our team through our website, www.friendshipbench.org, and we can share with you what we call the Friendship Bench in a Box, which is literally a DIY toolkit to enable you to do Friendship Bench wherever you are in the world.
Thank you so much for adding that a little bit extra context. I really appreciate it. Don't miss your flight.
Thank you.
Our next innovator, thank you so much, is Chris Doucette. We welcome him. He helps lead a global initiative using creative expression to combat the loneliness epidemic. Please welcome Chris Doucette of Project Unlonely.
Thank you very much. I am going to be sharing my screen, so get ready for these. And pardon my voice. I have a little bit of a cold. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Doucette, the Executive Director for the Foundation for Art and Healing and our signature initiative, Project Unlonely. Writing a poem can save your life. Here's how. Experiencing chronic loneliness seriously impacts our health. It increases the likelihood of heart attack by 30%, dementia by 40%, and diabetes by 50%. And those are just a few of the impacts. Addressing chronic loneliness can be a force multiplier that can improve health and save lives. And one of the most surprising ways to do that, in ways that are effective, scalable, and sustainable, is through the power of creative expression. Engaging in any act of creative expression, like writing, painting, drawing, gardening, cooking, knitting, actually changes the brain, making us more open to connecting. And when we share our creative acts with others, we form meaningful connections that improve our mental and physical and social health. At Project Unlonely, we champion the use of creative expression to reduce loneliness and increase social connection. Our goals are threefold. Awareness of the topic of loneliness. Number 2, to reduce the stigma around loneliness. And number 3, to create arts-based activities that help people create and connect. We do this in have 3 ways. We have 150 short films. We have a creativity hub on our website, and we have arts-based workshops that community-based organizations can use to train their community.
Thank you so much, Chris. I really appreciate you sharing that with us. Thank you so much. We're going to take it now to Greta McEnany. I'm so happy that you are here. Greta is the CEO and founder of Blue Fever, a supportive AI-powered platform that helps young people navigate emotional challenges and to feel less alone. I can't wait to hear more about Blue Fever. Thank you, Greta.
Thanks so much, Allison. I'm Greta Everybody, pronoun she, her. Blue Fever, like Allison said, is a youth-centric mental health platform. And what we really do is we bridge the needs of young people with support through our AI companion and peer-to-peer community to make sure they get the right resources. I've been working in this space for about 12 years, but I started actually as a filmmaker, spending about 3 years living across the US, making a documentary about the adolescent obesity crisis. And after it released on Netflix, I was reflecting on the behavior change that I had seen in young people. And I saw that they were actually self-medicating with media on their tech devices. They were turning to tech platforms for connection and support in spaces that just weren't designed for that. And that insight sparked the beginning of Blue Fever to really meet young people online where they were growing up and spending part of their lives. We started with our first product by curating mood-based content via text message and quickly saw how deeply young people responded. They were like, how did you know I needed this video on stress or a breakup or loneliness? And that led to us in 2018 creating Blue, who is our AI companion that was inspired by the big sister that I never had growing up but always wanted. And Blue is the first evidence-based mental health AI for youth. And since then, we've grown to support millions of young people through our High Trust app, where where users can express themselves, get peer support, and receive personalized guidance. We've actually been named Apple's App of the Day. And more importantly, young people have said that we've been a lifeline when they had nowhere else to turn to. And now we're scaling further, forming cross-sector partnerships for policy and impact and shaping the future of subclinical digital tools with support from Pivotal Ventures and others. So if you're a funder, if you're philanthropic or for profit, if you're a tool for loneliness, I'd love to connect and plug you into our growing ecosystem. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. You have about 15 more seconds.
Oh, I
And if you
do.
wanna
Okay.
throw in perhaps just, we're going to enter, we have the downloadable guide, but last chance, any last thing, 1 second left, go.
I'll put my email in the chat. Reach out if you want and check out our website and app. Thanks, Allison.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you, Greta. Thank you so much. I wanted you to get every second possible. Okay,
Appreciate
Jacob Kramer is up next. I am so excited to see Jacob here. He is the founder of a nonprofit that spreads kindness and connection to older adults, one old-fashioned letter at a time. So his organization is called Love for Our Elders. I see his screen is already up. Take it away, Jacob.
Thank you, Allison. Y'all are amazing. I'm so happy to be here. I'm with a nonprofit called Love for Our Elders, and we're fighting the loneliness epidemic among older adults. So we got started because of my grandpa. I had been volunteering in a senior community. I was the bingo boy. I loved it. And I would shout with so much enthusiasm, I-22, I-22, and everyone loved it. I loved it even more. They made me feel so good. And as I got to know the residents a bit more, I learned that they were really lonely. And there was one woman in particular who became like a best friend to me, Cynthia, who would tell me that she didn't get any visitors, only her niece, who she didn't even like that much, and not even something as simple as a letter in the mail. So I set out to change that after realizing through some research that simple acts of human connection are shown through research to have an impact on alleviating loneliness. And what's one of those simple acts of connection? Writing letters. So we strive to let anyone and everyone write letters, reach into new populations, and always be fighting ageism through establishing intergenerational connections. We do this through a few programs. We've sent more than 750,000 handwritten letters of love to older adults, just like this wonderful woman, Millie, who we featured last month on our website. We post new elders the first of every month. Campus volunteer chapters who volunteer in their local senior communities. Grandma's Letter Exchange, which is a book on grandparents and letter writing. And Letter to an Elder Day, which is a February 26th day featured in most national holiday calendars. And this is what our site looks like. New elders posted the first of every month. If you're interested in writing, please do. And then I have this 20-second video to show you.
Spain, Canada.
They said letters to who?
To you. All these are for you.
Oh my God. Oh, they're beautiful.
I can't believe all the letters I'm getting and the time that people take out of their lives to think about us seniors. Really remarkable.
A letter has power, so please write. Thank you.
Incredible, on time. Thank you so much, Jacob, with video to boot. Thank you so much. Our next innovator is Luke Wall. Luke Wall is the executive director of Only 7 Seconds, a national nonprofit working to end youth loneliness. Luke, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Allison. Jacob, I'm so inspired by your work. Thank you, everyone. Excited to be here. I'll start with a story. 7 years ago, my younger brother, Ethan, was a popular high school student. He was healthy physically, mentally, and socially. While on his way to taking his team to state basketball championships, his appendix ruptured and he ended up in bed for 5 weeks. And for 5 weeks, not one friend checked in on him. No stop by the house, no phone call, no text message, no Instagram message, nothing. And it wasn't that he had done something that had frustrated his friends or done something wrong. It was that his people just forgot. They went to school, had sports practice, did homework, ate dinner, doom scrolled social media, binge watched Netflix, went to sleep, rinse, repeat. Meanwhile, my brother went from socially isolated to lonely to anxiety and depression, and eventually suicidal ideation. Well, my mom got pretty frustrated, and one day she went out to her phone and she asked, how long would it take for one of your friends to send a message that says, I care about you? She typed it out and it took her 7 seconds. What followed was a grassroots movement of inspiring intentional, meaningful connection, especially for youth. And it led to our organization today, Only 7 Seconds. We are a national 501c3 nonprofit focused on addressing loneliness crisis for youth and young adults ages 13 to 24. Today, over 20% of youth report feeling lonely every waking minute, and 80% of Gen Z report feeling lonely at some point in the last month. Our goal is to inspire intentional, meaningful connection for over 2 million youth and young adults over the next 10 years. And to date, over 200,000 individuals have experienced connection through our work. We do this through multimedia awareness campaigns, curriculum and resources, and youth-led programming such as clubs and ambassador programs. At Only 7 Seconds, we believe the power of small acts of intention. If one friend had reached out and checked in on my brother, he would not have ended up in a place of suicidal ideation. Now, my brother's doing great today. He recently graduated college and is a teacher. But what he loves to share is that we all have 86,400 seconds every single day. And every person listening to this has the ability to use 7 of them to reach out and connect with someone you care about. And if we all did this, we would have a less lonely, more meaningfully connected world.
Thank you so much for that, Luke. I really appreciate you sharing that. Next up is Hannah Lee Golden. Hannah is the founding team member of a movement that transforms reading, a solitary endeavor, into a shared, immersive experience. So please welcome Hannah from Reading Rhythms. And I must say, in The Joy of Connections, the book that I wrote with Dr. Ruth, we featured Reading Rhythms in our book. So I am familiar with it, and now I'm so excited to share it more broadly.
Thank you so much, Allison. Hi, everyone. My name is Hannah, and I'm here on behalf of Reading Rhythms. This is an event that started on a rooftop in Brooklyn that has, in the past 18 months, become a global movement that creates belonging through a shared love of reading. I don't have any slides with me today, but I do have a story that I'd love to share with you from a recent event that happened in Griffith Park in Los Angeles just this past weekend. So we host these events about twice a month, and about 50 to 75 people come each time. It's a gentle rhythm between silent reading and social breaks, and it's simple, innovative, and deeply connective. We attract people of all ages, genders, nationalities, backgrounds. There's so much diversity in the room, but what brings everyone together is that shared love of reading. That's the through line. So you walk in and feel like everyone here loves books as much as I do. So at this event, a father and his adult son joined us for the first time. The dad was in his 60s, his son, maybe his 30s or 40s, has special needs. Afterward, the dad came up to me emotional and shared how his son has always struggled to connect, that his son often feels isolated and doesn't really know how to strike up a conversation. And then he told me something that's going to stay with me for a long time. I've never seen my son so confident walking up to a stranger to talk about something that he loves. And I just feel like that perfectly encapsulates the power and the magic of what it is that we do. We've created this space where people, regardless of who you are or where you're coming from, if you have a love of reading, you will feel safe and you will feel seen and like you belong. And to me, that's the ultimate way to fight loneliness, to create these kinds of spaces. Our events create this low pressure, high comfort entry point to community and connection. So I just wanted to share that story with you because I feel it explains the best of us, what we have the power to do, and the immediate impact that we're creating. So currently we're in over a dozen cities around the world now, but we're expanding to more than 20 cities in the months ahead. So we're everywhere. Take a look at readingrhythms.co to find an event near you. And another thing I'd love to shout out.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to cut you off there just to be fair and
I'll mention
equitable
it in
to
the
all
chat.
the other leaders. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. Thank you so much for your time. It's Reading Rhythms, everybody. And of course, that's a perfect reminder. If you want to learn more about what you've heard already, if you're dying to look ahead and look at the program for the leaders that you haven't heard from yet but are about to, there is a program, a beautiful, gorgeous, color program that we've put together today. We'll put it again in the chat if you've missed it or joined late. You can look at it as we're going and refer to it. Don't worry about taking notes. Everyone's names, their organizations, how to contact them. We've got your back. We have this information for you so you can keep referring to it. So thank you so much for your perspective, Hannah. Let me go on to Madeline Aber. I am so glad that you are here, Madeline. You are from Happy Cities. Who can argue with that? An urban planning firm that uses the science of well-being to create healthier and more connected communities. So, Madeline from Happy Cities, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Allison. I'm going to share my screen. So this is the story of this building here. It's called Our Urban Village Co-Housing, and it's located across the border in Canada, so Vancouver, BC. And it's a pretty innovative project. So it's got a lot of things going. If you're familiar with urban design, it's what we call missing middle housing. It's also Passive House certified. But the most kind of special thing about this is that it came to be back in 2017 when a group of people came together with a shared dream to build their own housing in a community where they would be mutually supporting each other across generations and really living in community with their neighbors. So in other words, we call this co-housing, but they also knew that co-housing is incredibly difficult to build. So 70 to 80% of groups who try to build this housing never get it off the ground because of high costs, complex development, often policy challenges. So we tried to kind of pilot this new model, which we called Co-Housing Light, where we partnered this urban village group with a like-minded developer who already owned the land and would help them get through the process. In addition, to add to kind of everything that's happening in this project, we also wanted to test a lot of these design considerations that we've been researching for many years about can design really help people build stronger and more supportive relationships? And all of our evidence really points to that, the way that we design these environments is so important. So you'll see features like the outdoor walkways and the courtyard, the social spaces, they were all really intentionally chosen to help build community. And we didn't stop.
Sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off there. But if you want to find out more, of course, it's Happy Cities. I am so thrilled that you are here, Madeline. I am apologizing profusely. Let me introduce next Dr. S. Renee Mitchell. It is an honor to welcome her. She is the founder of I Am More, a youth leadership initiative that empowers traumatized youth to rewrite their stories, which is so important to be able to be open to connections. So please welcome Dr. S. Renee Mitchell from I Am More. And if you're talking, I can't hear you. Maybe your mute button is on?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm so thrilled to be here. Many of us imagine that being in a room full of people would be an adequate cure for loneliness. But even just the thought of someone feeling like they're all alone can make a person feel anxious or scared. So we need each other more than we realize. So during the beginning of the pandemic, when the virus had trapped me in my home and triggered a bout of depression, I finally ventured outside with a mask covering my mouth, a sadness shrouding my eyes, and I stood on the sidewalk waiting my turn in line to become one of only 5 people allowed into the hardware store at that time. And an elderly Black man approached me. But before he passed me by, he caught my eye and he simply nodded. Just like that. I returned this gesture and he kept walking, and still to this day, I have no idea who he was. But from that exchange of just a second or two, I felt seen, deeply seen, and that changed everything. It inspired me to create a 20-minute film that you could see on YouTube that captured over 100 Black Portlanders talking about their version of what we call the Black nod. And this simple gesture, like just like that, person to person, silently communicates, I see you, I honor your presence, I acknowledge that you exist. And this brief nod that was shared with me by a stranger on what had been a very, very sad day for me inspired a whole campaign that I titled Spreading the Black Joy Virus. And that led to me helping our county government shape an annual park activation in partnership with urban farmers, musicians, nonprofits, and lots of other organizations. It also led to me opening a unique community space to combat loneliness called the Soul Restoration Center. See, in every moment, youth and adults have the capacity to become what I call spirit gardeners who can help ease the feelings of loneliness and isolation. And all it takes sometimes is a moment to genuinely acknowledge someone else's presence with a nod, a smile, or just even a hello. Because you just never know how even a slight head nod can completely change someone's perspective or even inspire a campaign that intentionally continues to spread joy with youth and adults. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think you were like just on time. That was so impressive. Thank you so much. I want to go next to Donna Griffin. She is co-founder of Aldera, pairing older adults and young people for mentorship and mutual support, by the way, using the power of AI. I can't wait to hear more. Donna, welcome. You are from Aldera, and I hope everyone learns about your work in the next 2 minutes. Thank you so much. Donna, maybe your mute button is on.
There we go. Thank you. Okay, very, very nice to see you all. Great to be here. On December 25th of last year, the Boston Globe's front page quoted a 12-year-old girl saying that her mentor is her secret weapon in school and in life, that she almost feels like cheating because other kids don't have a Kathleen. Now, Kathleen is a 73-year-old grandma from Boston who has been an Aldera mentor for 3 years. And there are thousands of other incredible, kind and caring older adults like Kathleen serving as mentors, friends, and secret weapons around the US. Aldera stands for the era of the elders, and we're built on the mission of unlocking the wisdom of older adults as a new resource for the younger generation. Older adults are our only growing natural resource on the planet, and we built a technology, an AI, that recognizes their unique wisdom, vets them, trains them, and connects them with young people at scale for weekly virtual conversations. Young people benefit from confidence, emotional support, and resilience, and older adults gain purpose, health, and joy. The science is clear. Intergenerational connection is really good for both young and old, and the Cleveland Clinic named us a social prescription that solves for loneliness. But loneliness is just an outcome of Aldera. It's not our full mission. Imagine if every kid had a Kathleen, and if every older adult was someone else's secret weapon. How different their lives and our world could be. I can imagine this because I was raised by my grandparents, and I've been guided by mentors like Kathleen my entire life, which is why we're building Aldera as a new social infrastructure where the social capital of older adults becomes a resource to society, and where growing old is not just inevitable, but invaluable. So I invite you to join us. If you're over 60, sign up. If you have kids under 17, sign them up. If you're a funder or you want to partner with us to distribute Aldera, email me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Donna. I really appreciate it. Now we have a special innovator to go to who's missing class for this. Yes, she's a 7th grader. Kaylee Brace is here. She is the founding member of a student-led organization on a mission to make sure that everyone can have fun and be included on the playground. So thank you, Kaylee, who is with Minnesota Play for All. And I wish I could stretch this out so you can miss more class, but I'm sorry, it's your turn. Go for it, Kaylee.
My name is Kaylee Brace, and I'm a 7th grader at Hopkins West Middle School in Minnetonka, Minnesota. I'm honored to speak today about Minnesota Play for All, which began as a passion project for my elementary school, Glen Lake, and it is now a middle school nonprofit and club for kids committed to fun for everyone. What is compassion? To us in Play for All, it is when a group of people sees a problem and then comes together to make a change that will be remembered long into the future. During the 2022 and 23 school year, our class noticed that the kids in wheelchairs were not equally included in all aspects of play at recess. Our window looked up upon the old playground and we saw that not all students could use the standard swings and other playground features. These students were our friends, and our differences were what made us a great, loving community. Therefore, we decided to mobilize to improve our playground so that everyone could swing. Play for All came to be when we started to make this dream a reality. We wrote a grant that would provide funds for one wheelchair accessible swing. When our class found out that we got that grant, we quickly turned our sights to bigger things. What if we rebuilt our entire playground? With our teacher to guide us, we made cold calls to businesses and held fundraisers to connecting with the Twin Cities professional sports teams. The more we did, the more I saw how my efforts were making a difference, and my excitement to be a part of this meaningful group grew. All the things and more brought big attention to our small school, and to date we have raised around $1 million. The Play for All group brainstormed how to carry on our message into the future. One was to write a book. We approached famous Minnesota author Nancy Carlson, and she generously agreed to help us tell our story, the book A Swing for Samara. It was a beautiful result. We hope that this book will help people realize that it is possible to include everyone, and when compassionate people come together and try, we are doing more than improving a playground, we are building a legacy.
Kaylee, you are inspiring. You are under by 10 seconds. So I want to use these 8, 7, 6, 5 more seconds to just a round of applause for you. You are a light, and we are so honored that you would join us today as our youngest innovator. Really, congratulations to all that you are doing. Now go back to class. Our next innovator is Kevin Robb. Kevin uses the power of music to build connection and community across generations and backgrounds. Please join me now in welcoming Kevin Robb, Heart of Los Angeles.
Thanks so much, Allison. That's a hard act to follow. I'm so really enjoying hearing all of your stories today. My name is Kevin Robb. I'm the music program director at Heart of Los Angeles. Heart of Los Angeles is a nonprofit located in central LA in an under-resourced neighborhood, providing after-school programming to youth in areas such as visual arts, athletics. We have academic support programs, scientific arts, a very strong college access program, our family services department, and our music department, which is the largest of all of our departments. Our youth programs include the YOLA at OLA, Youth Orchestras of Los Angeles orchestral program, and the HMS, OLA Music Studios program, which is based on jazz, pop, and rock for youth, that are partnered with the LA Phil, whose artistic director is Gustavo Dudamel. But the newest addition to our music department is our intergenerational music program. About 4 years ago, our CEO, Tony Brown, partnered with the Eisner Foundation to create the Eisner Intergenerational Orchestra. And this is an incredible, we think there are so few opportunities in our society outside of family for people of different ages to do something together, much less something fun and creative and community building that is the practice of music. We perform in parks, public events, all over the city, and I think it's a great cure for loneliness. And I'll leave you today with a short snippet of some recent rehearsals of ours. So I hope you get a chance to hear us soon.
Thank you so much. You have a little bit more time, and so I'm curious how the LA wildfires has impacted your work in these last 20 seconds.
I'm going to share this with you too, Allison.
Oh, I can't hear it. Can anyone else hear it? We can't hear it. I'm so sorry, Kevin. Let's stop the music because we can't hear it, but thank you for trying.
I'm sorry. Thank you for having us today. And we're coming back from the fires. Thanks for asking.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. All right. If you're following along on the program, which I'm urging you to, you will see that we had Lorenzo Lewis on tap. At the last minute, we've had a swap out. He had an emergency today. So his colleague, Kentrell Porch, is joining us. Same organization, same great information, just a new person to deliver these 2 minutes to us today. So we're so grateful that you didn't leave us high and dry. We wanted to shout your work from the rooftop. So thank you for the privilege for continuing to let us do so. Kentrell is going to be talking to us about the Confess Project. The Confess Project trains barbers, hairstylists, frontline workers as mental health advocates in their predominantly brown and Black communities. So Kentrell, Porch, thank you so much from the Confess Project.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Well, great. Thank you for having me here with the Confess Project. We train barbers and stylists along with other community leaders on being mental health advocates, which empowers those individuals to go out and help their clientele, help their community as a whole as it relates to their overall mental well-being. What we find is that, like everyone has stated so far, is that loneliness is a thing. You know, expressing our feelings is a thing that oftentimes as young people and adults, we have trouble expressing those things. So we train the individuals, the barbers and the stylists and other community leaders on how to pick up on certain cues, how to pick up on certain things that people are saying that may not sound quite right, or how certain routines have changed because we know what our clientele and we know how our clients operate. So we like to take the time to hold trainings for those individuals. We certify them as community mental health advocates, giving them a 2-year certification in that. And we also stay in contact with the individuals that take the training, stay in touch with our barbers through bi-weekly calls, monthly calls, continuing to go out. One thing I do with the Confess Project is I like to follow up with our barbers. So I'll go by the shops, go by the salons, pop in on trainings when we have those going on, hopping on with individuals who just may want to talk about certain things to get them going. So we are committed to the work and making sure we're doing our part in making sure we bridge that gap and break the stigma surrounded by mental health.
Thank you so much for joining us today and for filling in when Lorenzo could not. We're so grateful for your time. Kelly Dunlap is next. She's a clinical psychologist and the executive director of Take This, the first mental health nonprofit focused on the gaming community, reminding us, which I think is so important, that digital spaces can indeed be places for connection, care, and community. Dr. Kelly Dunlap, take it away.
Hello, and thank you all for being here and for all the amazing speakers that have come before and after. I'm just so excited to be amongst you all. So yes, my name is Dr. Kelly Dunlap. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I also have a master's in game design, and I used to teach game design at American University's Game Center. But I'm here to talk about Take This. I'm its current executive director as of only a couple of months ago, so new to the gig, but not new to Take This. The organization was founded over a decade ago, and it was following the suicide of a prominent member of the games community. In response to that event, no one knew what to do. No one knew who to ask, who to go to for comfort. And it was a very hush-hush type of situation that occurred. So Take This was founded, and since that time, it's been our mission to make sure that people know that it's okay to not be okay, and that it's dangerous to go alone. Fast forward to today, we know that games are the community spaces of the 21st century. And while games often get a bad rap for being a waste of time, I've definitely heard that a lot, we know that play is essential to health and happiness, not just for kids, but for all of us throughout our entire lifespans. And today's game spaces are our play spaces. As a longtime community manager, so before I came to Take This, I did community work through Halo. If you're a gamer, you might have heard of them. I was a community manager over there. I can tell you that our saying is that people connect because of the game. They come together because of the game, but they stay for that sense of community. And the number one preventative for loneliness is not retroactive, but rather preactive. That's not a word, but getting out in front of it, helping people feel seen, valued, and connected to by a community of care that they share values with. And that's what we see in games, and that's what we do at Take This.
Thank you so much. I am feeling so inspired. I feel like we need a 7th inning stretch, like roll our shoulders, move our legs a little bit. I am so energized by all that I'm hearing. I hope you guys are too. A reminder that if you need to pop off or you've come in late, this is being recorded. I don't want you to feel like you're missing out. So this entire program will be recorded. We will send it out to all the registered email addresses that we have. You can refer back to it. You can watch these amazing conversations again to learn more, but also you have that program to refer to. More than 1,000 people signed up today, so we know there is passion and interest. And so don't feel like when this conversation is over, it's over. We are all here. We all want to hear from you. Donna put her email address in the chat. I saw that. A lot of people want to keep the conversation going. So don't feel that we are distant and arm's length. That is the whole reason why we are here, to connect, to build, to grow, to break down our silos. We're all in this work together. So this is making me very, very, very happy. Jack Mayer, you're up next, my friend. You are the global ambassador for an international nonprofit that creates opportunities for friendship, employment, and inclusion for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Thank you, Jack, for joining us. You are with Best Buddies.
Thank you so much, Allison. Hello, my name is Jack Mayer, and I am a global ambassador for Best Buddies. Before Best Buddies, my life looked very different than it was today. I lived with constant feelings of loneliness. I was sad and depressed. When others saw me, they only saw my autism, only saw the things I couldn't do. But Best Buddies didn't. The day my best buddy Josie entered my life was the day it really began. She was my first real friend. She took the time to get to know me, the real me. She didn't see me for my autism label. Josie was the one who encouraged me to speak publicly. She recommended I give a speech on stage at my high school. It was my first time ever speaking in public. Through constant support and encouragement, Best Buddies has given me unforgettable moments in my life. They have provided me skills that I have used to educate others across the country, to better my life, and to discover my passion for public speaking. Best Buddies recognizes me for my special gifts. I feel extremely blessed to be part of this organization. I know this to be 100% true. Best Buddies has given me the best days of my life. Everyone deserves their best days, and everybody deserves Best Buddies. They see that I am more than my disability. My hope is that all of you at Reimagine will see that and help us achieve that. Thank you so much, Allison, for having me today.
Hey, Jack, you have a couple of seconds left, and I have a question for you.
Yes.
How did you become such an amazing speaker?
A lot of training, a lot of ambassador training, and humility and kindness.
You are fantastic, and we are so honored to honor you today. So thank you for joining us and being a part of this event, Jack.
Thank you, Allison.
All right, this is a hard act. I feel like everyone's a hard act to follow. Chris Appleton, you are up next. You are the founder and CEO of Art Pharmacy, as you see there. Art Pharmacy is a leader in the social prescribing movement, connecting individuals with arts-based, community-driven programs to combat loneliness. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you so much. At Art Pharmacy, we work with healthcare, education, and community-based partners to address the dual mental health and loneliness crises in the United States through social prescribing. We currently have partnerships in Arizona, California, Connecticut, Georgia, where we're based, Massachusetts, and New York. And we serve individuals across the age span, from youth in foster care to seniors in rural Massachusetts. I'd like to share a story of a member, Cheryl, who received a prescription for participating in community-based arts activities from her doctor at Grady Hospital, the academic safety net here in Atlanta, after she was diagnosed with small cell lung cancer. After receiving her diagnosis, Cheryl told her doctor that she was worried about becoming socially isolated again after the pandemic. So her doctor decided to write a prescription for 12 doses of arts and culture and called that prescription into Art Pharmacy. So far, she's received 4 doses of arts and culture through Art Pharmacy and is fully adherent to her care plan. Her favorite engagement was an exhibit opening at a local museum where she felt like she belonged after seeing the artwork and participating in a discussion with other attendees. Since her referral to Art Pharmacy, Cheryl's UCLA 3 loneliness score has improved by 17%. Art Pharmacy brings together the science of engaging with the arts with the community-based care delivery model of social prescribing, drawing on decades of research that demonstrates that participating in the arts alongside others can reduce loneliness, boost belonging, and improve outcomes for both individuals and systems. I encourage anyone who is interested in learning about social prescribing and how to bring these kinds of solutions to individuals who might be lonely to sign up for Art Pharmacy's newsletter at our website, or to be in touch with me directly at the email address listed here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. Carl Schatz is up next. He is the co-founder of the Maine-based organization that has completely reimagined and improved, I might say, the traditional potluck gathering. Carl can explain more. Please welcome Carl Schatz from Community Plate.
Thanks, Allison. So everyone has a food story. Sharing food and stories is one of the things that connects us and makes us human. This is the premise of Community Plate. We bring people together at story-sharing potluck suppers. We reimagine and reinvigorate the long tradition of community potlucks using storytelling as a source of connection and entertainment. Guests arrive to tables set with mismatched china, cloth linens, and flowers. Everyone is encouraged to make a new connection by sitting with someone they don't know. Cards with food-focused story prompts line the table, providing scaffolding for conversations. Share a story about a food that always reminds you of a specific person or a place. Share a story about a food that your mom made that you always hated. We set intentions that focus on listening, generosity, and belonging. During dessert, practice storytellers from the community perform for the group. It's like dinner and a show. As a society, we are starved for connection, and there simply aren't enough opportunities to break bread together and experience the serendipity that happens when we do. There's a sort of magic that takes place at Community Plate suppers that can be hard to describe. Becky, a grandmother, came to one of our first suppers. She sat down and she said, "I came because I'm lonely." It was the first time I'd ever heard someone say it out loud, and it was a powerful moment. But what happened next was even more powerful. April, the young woman sitting next to her, offered her phone number, and then Patty did too. They went and got a coffee the next day, and they went to another event the next week. A year later, all 3 are close friends that rely on each other all the time. The combination of sharing food and stories engages us in both giving and receiving. It invites us to be generous and vulnerable and open to connection. That's the power of the potluck. In America, we are spending more and more time dining alone. At Community Plate, we are working to change this, one meal, one food story at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I must admit, I'm feeling in awe and full. I'm seeing in the chat that people are feeling so inspired. People are sharing where they are from. They are connecting. This is just making my day. And I'm a little bit feeling left out. Karen, can you put my Instagram in there? Can you put my email in there? I feel like I'm hosting. I'm not going to get this love afterward if I don't have you put in my information. My gosh, I am so inspired. So thank you, Carl. Bella Onyema is up next. She is the social impact lead at Hinge, where she's spearheading the company's efforts to address loneliness among Gen Z through a special program called One More Hour. I am so excited to hear about this. Please tell us more, Abella.
Well, it surprises people that Hinge is in the social impact space at all. And it really surprises them when they find out that our area of focus is loneliness. But the truth is that people come to Hinge for a wide variety of reasons, some of which we can help them with and some of which we can't. So if you were to come to Hinge for a date, we can help you with that. But if you come to us looking for us to solve your loneliness, that is, which many people do, that is not something that the app is designed for. And for those of you who don't know, Hinge is a dating app. So our impact work is to make it easier for people to do something about their social health, to help them find community so that they can just go on a date and have that date be a date and not a lifeline to connection. So we started a program called One More Hour. It's based on an insight that young people today are getting 1,000 fewer hours of in-person connection time than generations past. And so we are wanting to help Gen Z have 1 more hour a day, 1 more hour a week, a month of in-person connection. We launched our fund, the One More Hour Fund, distributing $1 million to social groups in New York City, Los Angeles, and now London. So when we say social groups, they're things like surf clubs or backgammon clubs or wellness groups. Reading Rhythms is actually one of our grantees. And this is to support groups that are part of this movement that is already happening of how young adults are connecting in real life. And then speaking of real life, something that I'm excited to share with you all. Hopefully, nope, those are my notes. Okay, well, we're not going to be sharing screen. I was going to show you some images of an event that we are really excited about called Assemble. And Assemble is like a college activities fair's cool older sister. So we host curated group of social clubs to activate in really cool spaces. We launched our first one in New York last fall. We just hosted London a couple weekends ago. Assemble is a free day of programming and connection, and it helps people say, not what is Hinge going to do another Assemble, but oh my gosh, I just discovered that I love Mahjong, and Four Winds Mahjong meets every Saturday. So I'm
Bella, I am so sorry. My alarm just went off. I hate to cut you off. Please forgive me. I need to go on to our next innovator. I am so sorry, but in the chat, please put more information so people can learn more. I would love you to do that if you don't mind. Charlotte Massey is here today. She is the co-founder of the United States Chamber of Connection, an initiative built on the belief that democracy, sustainable economy, our future, all require connection and the establishment of civic organizations to ensure it. So thank you, Charlotte, for joining us today from the U.S. Chamber of Connection.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charlotte Massey from the U.S. Chamber of Connection, and our organization is addressing the crisis of declining social connection through the creation of city-level social infrastructure focused on newcomers. So I moved to Seattle in 2021 and struggled to meet people or even know where to start. I ended up making a spreadsheet of friend leads and hosting picnics in order to find my people, but I didn't feel prepared for how long it would take to make new friends, and I deeply felt the lack of any support systems to help me find my community. We're solving that problem through civic infrastructure. Our programming focuses on the 12 million people in the US who relocate every year, a segment of the population who need to rebuild their social networks from scratch and who are primed for change, so they're perfectly positioned to lead this transformation. We're starting in Seattle, where 60,000 new residents arrive annually, and the U.S. Chamber of Connection is creating an onboarding model to welcome newcomers in their first year and activate them as change agents in their communities. Research on culture change shows that it takes changing 3 to 10% of a population to then impact the rest of the culture. Our strategy is to build and scale in each city that can achieve this tipping point within a decade. Our programming targets the 6 points of connection for newcomers in their first year, which are on the screen behind me, and that addresses the spectrum of needs for safety, bonding, and bridging. It also creates direct community and economic value, which aligns incentives across the city. Newcomers attend a Welcome Day event, which kicks off 12 months of online and offline support to establish their 6 points of connection, and the programming is built around neighborhood and interest-focused events. With nearly a third of the U.S. population expected to relocate over the next decade, empowering newcomers to connect and thrive can create a flywheel effect for connected cities, reversing the decline in the next decade. We're piloting in Seattle and then expanding nationally, so if you want to launch a chamber in your city, please reach out.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it, Charlotte. Mark Winston is up next. He is founder of U.S. Men's Shed Association, creating spaces where men gather, build together, and create connections shoulder to shoulder. Mark.
Thank you. My name is Mark, and I'm with U.S. Men's Sheds Association. It's great to be with you all today. Men's Sheds started in Australia 30 years ago due to the lack of connection between men. By 20 years ago, their federal government down there was funding that movement. In 2012, the movement went from Australia to the UK, Canada, and New Zealand. My involvement began in 2014. I was in Canada doing some consulting work, and the idea of sheds came up. I ended up starting the second shed in Canada. In that town, there was a fellow who was clinically depressed. He never came out of his house. He started attending the shed. About 2 months into the shed, I was walking through it one day, and he saw me and he walked up to me, and I thought we were going to shake hands and talk about the weather. Well, he came up to me, he hugged me, and he said, "Thank you for giving me my life back." I almost fell on the floor. I have to tell you, that was an incredible moment. In 2016, the International Men's Shed Organization contacted myself and 2 others and asked if we would bring the movement to the US. We were crazy enough to say yes, we would. By the end of January in 2017, we had the U.S. Men's Shed Association up, and we had our 501c3 approved. In 2019, I was out visiting sheds around the country, and I went to this one shed in Minnesota. That was their day to clean a park that they adopted. Well, I went with them. There were 16 guys out there. This park was perfect. I had a leaf here, a stick there. The magic of that afternoon was these guys were together. They didn't care that they were in that park or selling ice cream or rotating tires on cars. They were together. The positive energy was very palpable, and I'm glad it was there. It enveloped me and the rest of them. Right now, there are 4,000 plus sheds in 16 countries around the world.
I am
and
so
several
sorry. I'm going to
hundred
have
she
to cut
sheds.
you off right now, but if people can definitely learn more about your organization and the program, forgive me so much. Dr. Ann Basting is next. She's the lead team member for the Memory Cafe Alliance, a movement to expand access to spaces of belonging for people with memory loss and their caregivers. Congratulations, Anne, for being one of these 25 innovators and your work with Memory Cafe Alliance.
Thank you so much. There are right now 7 million people living with dementia in the United States and 11 million of people who are caring for them. 85% of those folks, that 18 million, are living at home, really isolated because of the stigma of the disease and lack of social connection when their friendships start to fall away. Where do those people find joy and friendship and respite together? They find them at memory cafes. Memory cafes are really just social gatherings in your community in a trusted and accessible third space, where you find meaningful activities facilitated by a trained memory cafe leader. They're low cost or free. The Memory Cafe Alliance was formed about a year and a half ago, really to take this fledgling grassroots movement that came to the United States, again, from those countries that Mark said before, and grow them tenfold over 10 years, a really, really ambitious goal, because the numbers that I gave you are going to double in the next 15 years with profound social disconnection affecting both caregivers and people living with dementia. So the Cafe Alliance has several goals. We're trying to make cafes really easy to find with a brand new directory that currently has 454 cafes on it. Easy to start, free online training modules that are self-directed, easy to understand and share through a public awareness campaign, easy to refer for any of you who are clinical or public health or social care prescribers, and easy to sustain through this dynamic partnership of organizations. So go to the directory, find a cafe near you. If there isn't one, start it. Or go to the cafe near you and volunteer, attend. There's
Dr.
all kinds
Basting,
of-
I'm going to have you leave it there. I am so sorry to be so rude. Deborah Jack is up next. She helps to lead the Longest Table, an organization that invites neighbors and strangers, sometimes both can be true, neighbors and strangers, to share a meal and build community and stronger communities together. Please welcome Deborah Jack from the Longest Table.
Thank you. My story starts pretty personally. To be completely vulnerable, about 3 years ago, my company got acquired and I lost my job. And I didn't realize just how much my identity was tied up in that job and how hard it was to find a new one that I loved. I felt hopeless, helpless, unmoored, and I felt really alone. And during that time, an industry acquaintance told me about an event that she had organized. She lives in the Chelsea neighborhood of Manhattan, and her street was closed during COVID. One Sunday, she ran a whole bunch of tables and chairs down the middle of that street and invited all of her neighbors to come have lunch together. And she called it the Longest Table. And I listened to this story and I was like, if you could do this in Manhattan, I could do this in my town. And that's what I did. I ran a whole bunch of tables and chairs down a street in my town and invited the community to come break bread together. It wound up really taking off as a movement to the point that even Good Morning America did a segment on longest tables all around the world and all around the country. So in 3 weeks, we're doing our 3rd annual in my town. And even though it's become so popular over these past 3 years, I think the spirit of it really stays the same. It's all about whoever you are, whatever you do, you have a seat at this table. So my ask to you today, excuse me, is to really consider organizing a longest table in your town. We have tons of materials to help you kickstart it. And I promise you, you will not regret it. And just like a little postscript personally, it really helped me get my mojo back. So I'm like so grateful for community and just being here today.
Thank you so much, Deborah. Orly Israel is next, another table project, but very different. This one is about listening. It's called the Listening Table. I cannot wait to have you hear more. There is healing and connection when we stop talking. Orly will tell us more. Thanks, Orly.
Hey everybody, my name is Orly Israel. I'm in Los Angeles, California, and I started something called the Listening Table 4 years ago, which has transformed into such a movement. This is me. I did the Listening Table project, started a website called warmline.org that's helped over 500,000 people connect to humans. And now I'm doing keynote speaking on how social connection is suicide prevention. And betterlistener.org houses all of that. This is me at my listening table, a table where you set up on the street and you listen to people and it changes their lives. And I've taught people in high schools and colleges all around the world how to do listening tables on campuses to create a culture of change, to say that listeners have to be better. Now, in January, this is a video that took place in my backyard. And here's me with a garden hose trying to keep the house from burning to the ground. I failed. And I did not want to go out and listen on the street because I lost my table. But that's when listening mattered more than ever before because I needed it. And so the thing that's happening in the world is that our phones are starting to listen to us better than we are. And we must change faster than we ever have before to say, as listeners, we need to find the lonely people and go from loneliness to lonely. Yes, you are lonely. Me too. How can I show up and be there for you? Yes to loneliness. We all feel it. So I help empower listeners on their social fitness journey, which is our social fitness journey. And my only ask to build all of this is that you go to betterlistener.org and sign up for the emails, and I will send you 66 days of how to be a better listener. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Orly. I am so grateful for your time. Next up is Carla Fernandez. She is co-founder of The Dinner Party, bringing young adults together who are navigating grief and loss. Having lost both of my parents relatively young, I could have used a dinner. So thank you, Carla, for your work. The Dinner Party, tell us all about it, Carla.
Thanks, Allison. Orly, I'm feeling revved up from your presentation. Thank you, sir. I'm Carla. I'm the co-founder of The Dinner Party, as Allison said. We're a community of 20 to 40-somethings who've all experienced a major loss and are choosing not to grieve in isolation. Instead, we gather both online and in person for peer-led potlucks that offer connection, friendship, and a sense of home. So humans have always grieved collectively across cultures and across times. But in 21st century America, where I'm currently finding myself, too often we're taught to grieve quietly, privately, and quickly. Our work is about rewiring that, making it normal, even easy, to find your people after a major loss, transforming grief from an isolating experience into a gateway for some of our deepest, most meaningful connections. It started for me, like many good things do, around a kitchen table. I lost my dad of cancer when I was 21, and I had this kind of Goldilocks moment that therapy was amazing but expensive and time-bound. Traditional grief groups were often inside the medical institutions that I was really eager to get out of after being in cancer land for a year. And I craved real connection and conversation with people who maybe were strangers at first, but soon felt like friends. So I invited a few people who'd also experienced a loss over to dinner. Together, we did this sort of time-old ritual of feasting the dead, but also found that friendships could carry us into life way beyond our grief. So what began as this potluck among friends has grown into a nationwide, US-based network of tables in over 100 cities with 20,000 members. Along the way, we've learned that grief isn't just about death or the dead, and connection isn't just about being social, it's about being seen. There are tables that are live on our site right now that you can join across the country. This year, I published a book, Renegade Grief, born
Carla, I'm
out
going
of...
to have to cut you off there. Renegade Grief is amazing. I've gotten the galley. It's incredible. I'm so sorry to cut you off, my friend. Jillian Richardson is up next. She is the founder of The Joy List. It's not joyful to cut people off, so I'm so sorry, Carla. An email newsletter that brings people together for in-person connection. Jillian, take it away.
Yes, I know I'm not the only one who's cried literally 20 times in this hour. So the Joy List is a newsletter that features in-person events where you can come alone and leave with a new friend in New York City. Every event is facilitated. So it's not like an art gallery, a movie where you go and experience something. It's something like a women's circle, a men's circle. So many of the events here where you can go alone and know that a guide is going to be there to help you meet people. And how you all can be involved is, of course, subscribe if you live in New York City, share it. Also, we do a thing called the New Yorker of the Week, where we highlight a New Yorker who is looking to make friends or romantic connections. So also, if you're single or know someone who's single in New York City, I would love to feature you. And also, we have sponsorship slots. So if you want to advertise your community, your event, you can also find all that at joylist.nyc is the website. That's what I got.
Thank you so much, Jillian. I so appreciate your time. Last but certainly not least is Vanessa Elias. We are so glad that you are here. You're founder of Block Party USA. Tell us all about it. I think you might be on mute because I can't hear you, Vanessa.
Yep, classic. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be amongst you all. And yes, I have moved 28 times in my life across 8 states and 4 countries. So I know all too well what it's like to be lonely and isolated. But I also know how one person, one smile, one invitation, and one block party can make all the difference in building a life worth living. At my childhood block party, I had so much fun chasing fireflies, flashlight tag with the adults, relaxed, nibbling on potluck. And for the first time, I felt like I belonged and I was home. And months later, when my grieving parents came home from the hospital empty-handed and numb with the loss of my baby brother, I was able to run just 2 doors down, and Mrs. Gilliam held me on her lap and comforted me when my parents weren't able. I learned then that block parties foster neighborhood free play for kids, joy for adults, connection and belonging, and support right outside your front door. In 2018, I brought this block party initiative to my town, and the impact was immediate. Neighbors becoming friends, families becoming friends for the first time across the street, 2 men coming with opposing political views, but leaving with a new bond over smoked meat. Teens getting jobs, babysitting, dog walking. A new network of support was born, and it grew from there, which I call the block party ripple effect. This fall, I learned again the importance of neighbors. My brother and I live states away from my parents, and when my father died, it was her neighbors, their neighbors, that were there to support her every day, and I am grateful. And so today, so I founded Block Party USA 2 years ago as a free, simple, and actionable cure for our country's loneliness, social isolation, divisiveness, and the youth mental health crisis. And today I ask you to be the one to make a difference. Be the well-being catalyst that your family, your neighbors, our country, and you need, and organize a simple, old-fashioned block party this summer. Be brave, be the one, and join the Block Party USA movement. I'm here to help.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. We have just heard from 25 of this worlds. We were international. We went all the way to Berlin by way of Zimbabwe. We are doing the hard work to end this loneliness epidemic that we are in. It takes an idea, it takes a seed, it takes a germ, and just run with it. You have a program. This is not the end of our relationship, I hope. It may be the conclusion of this event, but Andy does have a few follow-up words. I'm going to pass it off to him for sure. Take advantage of that downloadable program. All of our information is in there, how to continue this conversation. This is about connections, so let's continue those connections. I'm an open book, and I want to hear from you. Maybe I could feature your organization in another Making Connections event. So please get in touch on Instagram. Please use my email address. I respond to all emails. And that's it from me. Thank you. Andy, you have important things to say. Back to you.
Thank you, Allison. Everyone here had important things to say, and I'm just so grateful to all of you and to those of you who gathered. I want you to join us for the next 2 sessions of Making Connections this spring. We've got one on May 22nd and June 12th. We'll go more in depth with a handful of today's speakers. And these gatherings will also include peer-led, prompt-driven breakout rooms so all of you can connect more. Nicole will paste a link in the chat to a page with registration links for these 2 events. Join us for that. Also, there's something special here for all of you, and I'm glad you're sticking around for this. We're late, so sorry about that, but this is a great opportunity for all of you to test out Reimagine's growth journey platform in its beta site. Brad Wolf is with us here, and this is Brad Wolf's love child. We're so excited to offer a first look at something new from Reimagine, a safe and inspiring social space to transform loss and adversity into meaning and growth. And we want you to give it a test drive. The platform, like I said, is still in beta, but it's built with care. It's a place where you can continue your Reimagine experience. The site emphasizes social journaling. Through writing, this allows you to express feelings, to track your moods, and to connect with others. You can share your own journey through guided prompts. That journey could include dreams, creative projects, and small, sweet steps towards growth and transformation. And you can engage with the stories of others as well as hold space for others. And in the works, we've got pathways for this platform led by experts in the field and growth pathways designed for specific groups of communities. So please check this out. And also please complete our survey. Nicole will paste that in the chat. We'd like to hear from you what you liked about this gathering, what you think we can improve going forward, and what your interests are. And we'll share that survey link in the chat. Please fill that out now while it's all still fresh in your mind. And once again, thanks to all of you who showed up today. And to those of you who already donated to Reimagine when you registered, thanks. And as part of this survey that you will fill out, I hope, there will be a question about supporting Reimagine's efforts to continue providing these free, low cost, sliding scale, and engaging programs. Please consider it. Thank you. Stay connected, everyone, and goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.